Hi, and welcome to our how-to video series where we go through and show you different things that you may be doing with our Discovery platform and how to do them. I'm Michael Ash, and today I'm going to be showing you how to fill holes whenever there seems to be a lack of data in a particular area. So if we look here, we have a couple couple holes that are a few, pretty decent size. And the reason these holes exist is because the way our processor was designed is only to keep the data that it's very confident in. So if we're not 100, if the processor isn't able to say, oh, well, I can statistically prove that this is good data because of the amount of points here and the density and all that, then it'll leave it out as opposed to filling it. But what we can do is we can go ahead and fill these holes, and then we can just look and see if it looks right. And if it looks like it matches up to the land, then we should be set, right? We can also take like a check shot in there, and then if the area we filled lines up with that check shot, then we can be pretty confident that it's good data. So the way we do this is we're going to load in our 1 foot of the area that needs filled, and then we're also going to load in our processed result. And so the processed result is that one that has all the trees, the leaves, branches, everything, And so one very important thing is you want to be at your top view, otherwise you're going to get angles on these trees and stuff when you slice it. And then what I like to do is I'll go ahead and deselect the view here on this little folder, and that allows me, and if I click on this processed result, then whenever I do any trimming, I'm actually trimming out of the processed result even though I'm looking at the ground points. And this makes it really easy to decide how to pull in points and such. So if I grab these little scissors here, I can go ahead and fill this hole. So I'm just going to go along the inside of this hole here, and we'll see all the data that we can pull in. And you can do a big box around this. It's really not a huge deal. I like to try to keep it inside just to make it look a little prettier whenever it first comes in. And then we're going to click this inside one, and that's going to pull in, that's going to separate this process result into two when we hit this error. This arrow there, that little green arrow. So now, if we bring this back in and we unclick this top one, now we have a little area with the trees in here, right? So if we click this again, we know that we got this all set up here. So we click this again here. If we click the CSF filter on the right side here, and we can leave it on relief. In our advanced parameter settings, you want to make sure that your cloth resolution is set to 1 and that this is also set to 1. We can click OK. So that's going to compute there. And now we have these off-ground and on-ground points. If we deselect these, now you see we've pretty much filled in the ground right there, right? Now the colors doesn't match up because it's still a separate cloud. But what we can do with that is we can take this 1 foot grid, that's this whole thing here, and we can clone it with this little button that's got the 2 sheep on it. And then we'll take these ground points and we'll clone it. And then we're going to merge these 2 clouds. So to select both of these at once, if you hold Control and then click the second one, that's basically like click the first one you want, hold Control, click the second one. Now you've selected both. You can click that merge button up here on the top left. We say no to this. So now it's a clone. What we're going to want to do now is, this is very important you're in the 1 foot grids when you do this, because we only rasterize to 1 foot. We're going to go through here. We'll set all these settings. It should be direction is Z, cell height is average. All these settings should be set every single time you do this. We'll hit update grid. We're going to hit cloud, and then we're going to hit OK. So what that does is it turns both of these into, now it's a 1 foot, and you see it's filled the hole, and we only have a couple feet gap here and there. We can do that for each one of these holes, and I'm just going to go ahead and walk through the process again. So we have this hole in here. It seems to be looking pretty good. We're going to want to combine the area here. So if we go over here, and we can delete this now. I can delete this. I like to just clean things up as I go so I don't have things to confuse me. So we want to pull out of this processed result here, that one right there, because if we bring this in, we see it's just that little one. We don't need that anymore because we have that, right? So we're going to unclick this one here, And we want to trim out of it though, so we'll make sure we have it selected, just not checked. And we're going to go ahead and click the scissors up here on the top again. And we're just going to go ahead and just cut on the inside of this line here. Lots of little clicking to get all the angles. Right click, and that'll drop the selection there. We can come over here and click the inside one. And then we can click, we may even, yeah, we can click the arrow here. So now we have another section, so we'll click this. There we go. So we brought in another one of those. And then we'll just step through this whole process again. We're going to take this, and we're going to run a CSF filter on it. It's going to be a relief. You want to check your advanced parameter settings. We got 1 and 1. Click OK. And that's going to give us our off and on ground points. So if we click that, we see we have a floor here. So we'll go back to our top-down view. We can delete our off ground points. We don't need them. Take this, and we'll rasterize it to 1 foot. We'll go through all here. We want direction to be Z. Cell height is average. We'll interpolate, that's the average value. Fill with leave empty. We'll click upgrade grid and click cloud. Click OK. And now, there we go. And get rid of that. And we can take this one here, which is this whole area, and control click this one down here. And we'll just go ahead and merge them. We'll click no. And now we have that whole field as well. And it's the same process for this last hole over here. I just wanted to show you twice, that way you get some repetition, be able to see it. But as you can see, filling holes is super easy, only takes a couple minutes, and now you have all the data that, you know, we seemingly had missed. And if you take a look from the side here too, you can see that, like, it looks to be lined up really well with the ground, right? We're not seeing any, you know, major spikes or anything like that. We can take a look at this other one here. You know, we don't see a major break in elevation or anything. So in this case, our processor, you know, didn't necessarily need to take that out. It had a pretty good ground. But like I said, it's always good to double check this, you know, when you're pulling in, manually pulling in data that the processor doesn't approve of, if you will. But as you can see, it's a really excellent tool. It's super easy to do. And for the most part, anytime there's a hole, it's just because the processor left it out and not because there's not actually enough data to fill it. Hope you learned something, and hope this helps you with your discovery product.